Howdy, readers. I'm Jason, and you're watching me crochet on Old Blues Chapter and Verse. It is time again for a little ramble with a yarn. It shifts each month. It seems like it's a video that tends to appear when I need it. Yeah, I mean, I've got all my stuff ready to do the Scholar's Book Tag, but I've just been so busy reading and wasting time too, I'll admit freely, that I just can't seem to bring myself to sit down and get it done. So in the meantime, I thought I would just sit and have a chat with you guys while I get a little crocheting done. So the first thing that I wanted to mention tonight is to just encourage everybody to keep the people of North Carolina and South Carolina, and I think Virginia as well, in your thoughts and in your prayers. The apparently the outer kind of edges of that hurricane started kind of hitting the state this morning, and it's going to hit in earnest overnight or early tomorrow morning. So we've got booktubers out there. Robert from Barter Hordes is in North Carolina, and Caleb is in North Carolina. Now, I've had conversations with both of them this week, and it sounds like they've kind of done some planning, and they've got a handle on the situation as much as one can have. But yeah, it would behoove all of us, I think, to just keep them in our thoughts. And like I said, if you're of a religious bent, as I am, then keep them in your prayers as well. And not just them, but all of those people. I can't even imagine. But we've all got them, right? Like almost all of us anyway, have to contend with, if not the actuality of a natural disaster, the possibility of a natural disaster, right? So the East Coast, right, they've got these hurricanes, and in California there's always the prospect of a series of earthquakes looming large. Up in Seattle, where at least two of the booktubers who I watch are located, they've got the Cascadia fault line just off the coast that is going to result in a massive disaster at some point in the near future, in all likelihood in the next 50 to 100 years. And then, of course, myself, Kelly and I, and then Mindy as well, from Mindy's Book Journey, we all live in Wyoming, not too far south of the largest volcano on the planet that is going to blow eventually. And when that does, yeah, it'll truly be adios. And when Yellowstone goes, it's gonna suffocate everyone else in the northern half of the United States, but we'll be gone pretty quickly. So maybe have just enough time to drink a bottle of whiskey and go up on the roof and watch it happen. The second thing that I wanted to talk about, I took a few notes here, is I just wanted to encourage everybody to look at the booktubers you subscribe to and check out their backlists. Have a look at their videos that they did long before you were familiar with their channels. So when I started watching BookTube, that was just so much of what I did, right? Because I wasn't subscribed to anybody yet or anything. And some of the best videos I have seen are just kind of lying quietly. Oh, we have a kitty in the room. Are just kind of lying quietly in the backlists of some of these booktubers. Steve Donahue has a video that he did, I don't know, maybe a year ago or something, called The 7 Deadly Sins of YA. Hey, bud. Come here. Yeah, come here. And Neil Griffiths, in his backlist, has a couple, maybe even 3 or 4, but at least 2 really terrific videos on theology. So, whoever it is, whichever booktubers you watch, if you haven't yet had a look through their backlists, You should. Even my own, if I look back at my own backlist, one of my favorite videos that I've done was the pirate ship book tag pretty shortly after I started my channel. My videos now, I mean, routinely get within just 2 or 3 days of being up between 150 and 200 views, and that video's been up for almost 6 months now, and I think it's got, I don't know, 80 or something like that. So I thought it was a fun video, and it was a really great tag, and it's a tag that not too many people do. So check out the video and do the tag if you haven't. The pirate ship book tag. I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Backlists are there to be looked at on occasion, to be browsed. There are some really good things kind of hiding out in people's histories on Booktube. So I think it was from a video that Jay Shea did recently, and I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but I think he referred to kind of many booktubes. Okay, and I really love that, and it got me to thinking about how to how to articulate this, because I really do feel like there are many booktubes as well, and I think I mentioned in a comment on his video something to the effect that we're all kind of playing in prescribed corners of the booktube sandbox. And I'd like to actually think of it as a kind of Venn diagram, booktube being a Venn diagram. And so we've got overlapping circles. And so you've got your big YA booktubers, right? And they are kind of off here in the Venn diagram. And then we've got the more literary people down here. And there's some overlap kind of between lots and lots of these different quadrants. A bunch of overlap in some cases, and virtually no overlap in other cases. But it got me to thinking about that New York Times article that was done maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that, about BookTube. And there was a photo accompanying it, and the New York Times reporter was essentially kind of profiling booktubers. And I remember reading it thinking two things. One, this is really cool that the New York Times is writing about BookTube and it's putting it on people's radar. But number two, I remember thinking these people who they are profiling look, sound, seem, think nothing at all like the booktubers that I've come to know and love. And so, yeah, it occurred to me that these are not my booktubers, these YA folks. Come here, bud. Come here. Do we got you? No. So that raises the question, who are my booktubers, right? The booktubers whose corner of the sandbox I play in. Come here, Blue. And it kind of follows like this, right? We are the booktubers, like Paperback Junkie, who get political and enraged and political about stickers on books. When I saw his video, I just loved it, and I knew exactly what he meant. I feel exactly the same way. Hey, bud. Come here. Come here, little dude. Blue. Hi there. We are the booktubers who take prizes very seriously, and we are very critical of prizes when need be. And we believe books can and should be riches. Hey, you. Not bonbons. We are booktubers who look at the staples of this platform in a slightly different light from, say, the YA crowd or what have you. Yesterday I was on Goodreads, and I saw that Elena Macrodina had left a comment on an update status of Wilson Shugarts. And he had marked to read, gotta get the title right. Wilson, I think, had marked to read The Ecclesiastical History of the English People by the Venerable Bede. And Elena left a comment on his update inviting him to a buddy read of The Ecclesiastical History of the English People by the Venerable Bede in November. And of course, Wilson was thrilled at the idea. And it warmed my heart. It made me laugh. And I said, these are my people. We are the people who would do a Venerable Bede buddy read. We're the people who are doing ShakeTube, right? Who are reading Titus Andronicus and Julius Caesar and Henry IV and falling in love with Falstaff. And that's this corner of the sandbox. This lovely literary corner of the Booktube sandbox. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So that's that for the evening. I will be back on Saturday with a video on the Merry Wives of Windsor, which I'm actually greatly enjoying. I know it has a little bit of a bad rap in the Shakespeare canon, but I find it funny. I find it funny just reading it. And if it were produced with a real deft comic touch, I think it would be hilarious on the stage. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. We'll see. But anyhow, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I will talk to you and see you very, very soon. Adios.